Hello and welcome to another edition of Fridays with Phil. I'm your host, Philip W. Dunn, Program Manager with US Black Chambers, Inc. On behalf of our president, Ron Busby, our board, and our staff, I want to wish you all a happy National Black Business Month. I really want to wish it to everyone. Hopefully everybody celebrates. But here at USBC, we are celebrating all month long with quality programming to help our member businesses thrive and succeed. We're also showcasing local Black-owned businesses in an effort to raise awareness. Now, today's guest, Markesha Wattree. Markesha is the creator of Juggle Learning, LLC. It's a company that designs and creates unique hands-on skills-based educational games for children. Now, some of the debut games focus on phonics and building solid early reading skills that are engaging to young learners. Now, I could even use some of this. Markesha has combined her childhood and professional experiences to thoughtfully develop products for Juggle, taking into account that children learn more when they're having fun. Children also need less screen time and more hands-on lessons. I would argue that some of our adults need that too. But she feels that connecting with family through learning and play also helps them to form trusting, securing relationships with others. Now, Juggle Learning's key products are designed to address all of these key areas and so much more. A little bit about Markesha. She is a certified ESL teacher with a Master of Science degree in curriculum and instructional design. She has over 15 years of experience in education. She enjoys creating experiences and products that make learning fun for even the most resistant learner like myself. So USBC, I want you all to just take a moment. Please help me welcome Markesha Wattree. Markesha, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me here. And it's Friday.
It is Friday. Happy Friday. All right. I'm so glad to have you here. And so one of the things before we begin, there is a couple of things that I want to make sure that we do. Here at the Chamber, we do have all sorts of quality programming that we put together for our members and for other folks that visit us as well. As I mentioned, Markesha is, of course, our special guest, but I also want you to take some time to think about some of the other programming that we have. And we do have our upcoming Buy Black conference, which is scheduled for October 13th through the 15th. It is now open for registration. This will be a virtual and an in-person conference. So you want to go ahead and go out and visit our registration site. The US Black Chambers is partnering with the National Association of Black-owned Broadcasters. And the event this year is going to be held at the MGM Grand Resort and Casino, the National Harbor in Maryland. So go out to buyblackconference.com and visit. And then if you want to register, please register there as well. So now I want to turn our attention to Markesha Wattree. Markesha, I'm so very excited to have you here. I want to start out, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then we're going to dive right into that journey.
Okay, well, my name again, thank you for that, is Markesha Wattree. I am a native Houstonian, and I have been an educator in education for over 15 years. Started as a classroom teacher and worked through many different spaces within the education realm. And I found that there was a need, so I decided to take that need and create something from it. I enjoy working with children. I enjoy helping children to learn. I really do enjoy, especially those children who generally struggle to learn in a traditional classroom setting or learn the traditional way. I like digging in deeper to find out their learning styles, to find out how they learn best, and to make that fun to them and to appeal to their learning style. So that's a little bit of my background. I enjoy creating, and I enjoy creating things that help children make learning fun for children again.
All right. So it sounds like you had that passion of teaching, but then also making sure that folks learned and sort of reinforcing that whole concept. So now how do we make the leap from teaching to creating products that children can use to become their very best educated selves?
I always say that every teacher is an entrepreneur, because as an educator, we're always creating things, making things in our classrooms. Because of course, yes, we get a curriculum handed to us at the beginning of the year, but we know that in a perfect world, that doesn't meet the needs of all of our students. We have students who come in at all types of levels with all types of deficits, and we have to fill in those gaps. It's our responsibility to fill in those gaps. So for me and many other educators, that's when you go into creator mode. You start creating things and you test it out with your children in the classroom. And then when they start learning and those light bulbs start to go off, you get excited because it's working. And not only is it working, it's making learning fun for them. So you have those kids who start out maybe not liking school so much, or crying because they don't want to come to school, or skipping school altogether. And all of a sudden you have them engaged and they're happy to come to school. They're telling parents and siblings about what's happening in school. It's the greatest feeling ever. So that leap for me wasn't a huge leap. It was just me focusing on things I was already doing. And I think oftentimes we forget about those things or take for granted some of those things we do so often because it becomes natural for us. So I just took and someone else had to point that out, of course. My friends and family had to point that out. You're already making this. Why don't you create a business? And here we are.
And that's what I was trying to get to right there is that you're already doing this. You're already creating value. Now, how do you monetize it? So walk me through the first product, how you designed and put that together. And it sounds like you understood what the gaps were and the problems were. Children weren't learning at the rate that they could be learning. They weren't happy with the learning process. So now you've got this passion that you already wrapped up in, and then you have a product that you're already putting together. Walk me through that first product.
So I went through a series of things. I noticed that even from at the elementary level all the way up to high school, what I noticed is that those foundational skills were missing. Even with our students and kids that are in the middle school or secondary schools, they missed out on that foundation. And so I said, okay, I need to go back to the foundation. I need to take it back to the basic level and see what we're missing here. And that's why I started with those phonics products, those phonics and sight words products. So initially, it started off very different than what the product is now. And I started by drawing it out. And once I put that into play, it didn't work out as well as I thought it would. I had a little test group to test it out, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to do. So I went back to the drawing board, remembered some of the things that I used in the classroom, got some of those resources out of storage, and just started drawing things up and creating and making it work, testing it out with children to see if it worked for them, if they enjoyed it as much as they did as when I created this in the classroom. But in the classroom, it looked a lot different, of course. And so once I created that, I didn't want to just print something out or just have something that was for someone to download. I wanted to create the whole package so that if a parent or a classroom teacher or a school district purchased this, everything is in the box for them. So at that point, I had to find a manufacturer. And that was a process because I knew nothing about finding someone to manufacture a product or where to go, where to start. So that's when these business groups came into play. You can't do this alone. I call myself a loner. I'm naturally a loner, but in business, you can't do this alone. You need your network, you need people. And so in talking and networking with people, I got some suggestions for a manufacturer and sent it into them with a lot of back and forth, a lot of edits, a lot of panic moments. There were moments when the product, I didn't know when it was going to come to me. So many things happened. I felt like everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. But I also felt that keep pushing. I got this far, keep going, keep going. So.
And I didn't want to cut you off there because there's a lot of lessons in that. So from the notes that I just took, you created the product first. This is something you were already doing in the classroom. You know how to do this, right? And then you kind of tested it, tested the market to see how it would work. Had a couple of bumps and bruises, experienced some things.
Lots of them.
And then you said, okay, well, let me reach out for help. I'm an introvert, I don't want to really get close to folks. How do I make this, something where I can, kind of delegate some of this and then rely on expertise? Went to a manufacturer, got it right, and then went out and put it back on the market. And now we have something that people can use and actually help to educate their kids. So, but there's got to be a point in time where you probably felt like, I don't need to do this. Was there?
I did. There were several times, and my mom would always say, "Keep going. You got this. Keep going." My friends, I had a lot of motivation. So yeah, there were many nights that I said, "Okay, is this even worth it? Maybe it's not that important. Nobody's going to buy this. People already know how to make this. They already have products out there. They can find something else." But those closest to me said, "But they don't have your product. They don't have what you have. They don't have that. And you created that for a reason. There's a need for it. Keep going." So I needed that motivation. I needed to hear that. And that is what inspired me to keep going and motivated me to keep going, that something is going to come from this. And then when I had people starting to reach out saying, "Hey, what is that you posted? I really like that. Can I purchase that? Where can I get that?" And at the time, it was just, "You want this? You want my product?" But that was the motivation to keep going, that, okay, people need this. The kids need this. So let's do it.
That's another thing I want to highlight is, many years ago when folks wanted to create a product and market it, we didn't have social media. And so now we have social media to help get the word out, create awareness, and even process some of these transactions that take place. And you just mentioned posting and sharing about your product caught the attention of some folks who were then able to purchase it. Talk to us about how you leverage social media in order to get your product into the hands of the folks that need it the most.
That was another hard part for me because I don't like to talk about myself. And it took friends and family again saying, "You're always promoting everybody else. You promote everyone else's products and businesses. You need to do that same and keep that same energy for yourself." And it took me a while, because for a while I didn't post anything on my page about my business. I posted that I'm starting a business, and that was it. And after talking to a lot of people, accountability partners, mentors, they reminded me of, if no one knows it exists, how can they benefit from it? Which seems like simple, but at the time I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking, I don't want to bombard people with telling them about my business, telling them about my product. But as a business owner, you have to, people have to know about it. You have to share it. You have to talk about it. So I took some social media marketing classes, learned some things, still learning, always learning. There's always new things to learn with social media, and start posting and start implementing some of those things that I learned. And it became very beneficial because more people started to learn about it.
And so what I'm hearing is that, we had to overcome some vulnerabilities first, right? We had to say, okay, if this stuff is going to move from the shelf into the hands of the folks that need it, I've got to start talking about it. I got to start posting it. I've got to start leveraging some of the social media tools, the marketing tools. When you did that, what did you learn about your customers as you were, starting to leverage these platforms?
I learned that I had to find who my customers were, because it went beyond just marketing and telling everybody. Yes, I'm telling everybody, but I also had to market to the people that needed it most, or that needed it. So for me, that shifted a little bit. I had to create my customer avatar, as I learned in one of the trainings. And once I did that, it was eye-opening to find out who my niche was, who my target market was, and really talk to them and speak to them and tell them and explain the benefits. Because that was another thing. Sometimes we have the curse of knowledge. So because I created this and because my background is education, I talk about things, but sometimes I talk about it in a way that maybe an educator will understand, but maybe not necessarily someone who's outside of education. So I had to remember those things and market it to those mothers who may not know, why are sight words important? Or why are phonics important? Why are these cards dry erase? Why is that important? So I had to remember all of those little key things.
So I'm glad that you said that, because it speaks to, you got your passion over here, which is education. You got your business, which is education products. And now you've got to take on this whole new skill of marketing and promotion. And so was this something that you ever felt like, I can't do this? Or did you say, you know what, I can learn this and I can take it and I can, make this work?
Well, the funny thing is my degree, my first degree is in marketing and in business, but it was so long ago. What I learned from that is that if you don't keep building and keep learning, then you lose it. So a lot of those things that I learned when I was earning my degree were no longer relevant because now we're in the social media world, social media marketing and those things. So I never felt that defeated. I felt that there are people who know about this, who are knowledgeable about this, and these people were already a part of my network. So I said, I need to utilize these people that are here. And that was an important lesson for me too, is utilizing those people around you and utilizing those resources. Sometimes we have so many resources that we get overwhelmed and we don't use any of them, and they're right there. So just remembering, and it's always, I have to always tell myself that and always help myself remember that you have these resources right here, use them. And so I did that, and that's what helped with that marketing piece. And it's still helping, I'm still learning.
I love it, because I think that there are some business owners out there that are watching now or that will watch later that have come to that point to where they felt like, you know, I know how to do this. I know how to build my product. I know how to, you know, push my service. But now I'm up against this wall of marketing it. And here it is. You went out there, you found the resources, and you did it. Now, another thing I want to turn our attention to, and before I do, shout out to LaTanya White for dropping us some love in the chat. Another thing that I want to do is women in entrepreneurship. We don't see a lot of women really pushing forward the boundaries of entrepreneurship. And I think in the last couple of years, we've seen some explosive growth. And then also, I think in corporate America and also outside of entrepreneurship, it's been said that Black women in particular make 63 cents in comparison to their average white peer. And so talk to us about the importance. Oh, and in addition to that, it takes them, I think, 580 days to make what their average white peer makes. Talk to us, the USBC Chamber, about the importance of Black women stepping into entrepreneurship.
I think it's important because we have the skills, we have the knowledge, and sometimes we talk ourselves out of it. And I think that goes back to that network and having that network and using that network, because, you know, I have a lot of people in my network that are women, Black women entrepreneurs. And LaTanya, thank you. She's one of those people. And she's one of those people who has also become one of my accountability partners. So it's important to have that network, those people that you can go to, those people that are maybe not doing the exact same thing as you, but they're also building a business. They're also entrepreneurs. And it's important as Black women that we band together and support each other in that and use our resources, share our resources as well with each other.
I love it. I love it. Another topic I want to touch on is I know that you are a proud member of the Greater Houston Black Chamber of Commerce. And we at the United States Black Chambers, Inc., we proudly support over 140 local Black chambers throughout the United States across 40 different states. Talk to us about the importance of your membership in the Black Chamber, what you gain from the chamber and what you give to the chamber.
And that's another part of that network. You can never have too many networks. So the Black Chamber, it provides so many different resources. And, you know, I found myself Googling and trying to find and pulling from everywhere all these different resources when the chamber had them all right there for me. The emails go out, there are webinars, there are seminars, there are different things, so many different resources to help you be successful. And then so many people that you can find to network there. So for me, that's key. That's important to grow your business, to start your business. You need a network. You need that network. And so for me, the Black Chamber of Commerce has been that network for me and it's continuing to be that network. And I was encouraged to join even before I started a business. And I was hesitant. I said, oh, I don't know about this. But I'm so glad I did. And I will continue to be a member, and I continue to encourage others to join as well, because the benefits are priceless.
You know, you're really touching on some points that I think is very important for our entrepreneur base that's going to be watching this now or later. And what I'm hearing is growth. right? So we went from being in the classroom as an educator to an entrepreneur. From an entrepreneur, we went to becoming someone who's very involved in the manufacturing process of products. From a manufacturer, we went to someone who became heavily involved in marketing. And then from marketing to solving all sorts of problems in the educational arena. Talk to us about the importance of continued growth as an entrepreneur and continually pushing yourself to the next level.
I always say it's important to celebrate your victories, no matter how small, but don't get stuck there. Continue to grow. And I got that advice from just watching people that I saw that were successful in, whether it's corporate or business. They were successful people, but they didn't stop. They would create a goal, they would achieve that goal, and they would keep going. And like the saying goes, if your goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So that's important. It's important to grow and not just become stagnant and stay in the same space. So absolutely.
All right. Now I've got to talk to you about the next steps and the next part of your journey. Now I know, and I don't want you to let too much of the cat out of the bag, but I know currently your products are focused on the pre-K through the second and third grade level. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this whole other range of opportunity out there from the fourth grade on. What can we expect from Juggle Learning in the future to address that market?
We're going for it. We're going out there. And the thing about Juggle Learning is that we take suggestions and feedback from what we see. I have a cohort of teachers, of administrators who are in the classroom, in the schools. I'm still in the schools and volunteering in the schools a lot as well. So we're finding out where those needs are, and we're listening, and we're doing something about it. We're creating products to help address those needs and to help fill in those learning gaps and to help engage and motivate those students who need that different type of learning or that different type of product to help them learn. So these are supplemental, but they are so beneficial to helping students really solidify their knowledge in certain skills. So we're growing, we're adding to our product line as well.
All right, and then I know that here in Texas, school is about to start up, and I know that we're still experiencing some challenges with COVID. What can Juggle Learning offer to the parents out there that may be considering homeschooling or as an option instead of going back into the public schools?
So for Juggle Learning, we have, that's what we create, hands-on skill-based products. So our products don't require the use of any technology. So it gives students or children that break from the technology that they're using a lot, because with virtual learning, they are on the computer a lot. And sometimes they just need a break. They need to be able to manipulate things with their hands and be able to do something that feels less stressful. So the products that we create at Juggle Learning are meant for that. And it's meant to engage the whole family. So this could be something that's done at a family game night, because it engages, the child is learning, the child who needs it is learning, but the family is also engaged in the learning. So I've created things that with instructions and videos, how-to videos are coming to assist with that. But it's something the whole family can do. So everybody's involved in the learning process.
I love it. But yeah, because when you take a look out into the next couple of weeks, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID and how prevalent it's becoming. So I was always, just kind of thinking through what, organizations like yours, how you might be prepared to step into the gap. This last question I want to ask, and you take your time and really think about this, but what do you envision Juggle Learning to look like in the next 5 to 10 years?
So over the next 5 to 10 years, I want to get Juggle Learning products in our school districts. I want them to be in classrooms, because these are great for workstations. These are great for not just home, but for school use. And we do have some in some of our schools here. Some of our private and charter schools have purchased, but I want to see that in more. I want to see this in more classrooms, because I want to take some of that work off of teachers. Again, I was a classroom teacher who spent lots of weekends and nights, and every educator who watches this, everyone who knows an educator knows this. We're constantly working. So I want to help alleviate some of that and create some of these things so that you don't have to do that. So I'm just hoping to push out into the school districts and not just Houston, but and beyond.
Can we expect anything for adult learning in that area as well?
There may be. I've been networking with some of my chamber members, so there may be.
Perfect. Markesha Wattree, I got to tell you, I'm so excited for all your success, and I know that it's been a long journey, and I know that you put in the work and you put in the effort, and we definitely appreciate it. Any parting words you want to share with the folks before we go into the weekend?
No, I just want to thank you for having me here, and for all of those who have children who are going back to school. I know it's a scary time, but we're here. Juggle Learning also is here. If in case you have questions, comments, concerns, or just need support, or have questions about things of education in general. I get a lot of emails with questions, just what do you think about this, or what should I do with this? There are lots of parents and families who are transitioning to homeschool. I have resources for that. Even though I'm not teaching homeschool, there are resources that I can give. So if I can't help, I can find someone who can.
So tell us, Markesha, where we can find you on the internet and then on social media.
Okay, so my website is, of course, www.jugglelearning.com, not to be confused with jungle, but juggle, Juggle, jugglelearning.com. And on social media, it's at Juggle Learning. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
All right. So after a while, I'm going to start thinking that you are a social media expert in addition to an education expert.
I don't know about expert, but I have enough people in my corner to help me with that, to guide me through it. I'll focus on the Juggle Learning products.
That is perfect. Well, before we close out, I definitely want to thank Markesha for her time today. I also want to turn our attention to next week's guest, who is Warren Broadnax of She's Happy Hair. So he will be here. We tried to put together just a really, I want to say star-studded, but a substantive group of folks that could help our folks move forward in their entrepreneurial journey. Markesha Wattree, you have certainly helped us to do that today. So I want to thank you on behalf of our president, Ron Busby, on behalf of our board, our staff, and our leadership team. I want to thank you for attending this special edition of Fridays with Phil. Happy National Black Business Month, everyone. Have a safe and happy weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you.